Cyberpunk 2077 is a fantastic game, especially after all of the recent patch 2.1. The game gives you a sneak peek of how humans can augment themselves with technology to enhance their abilities. Today, I want to explore what technologies we have in the present day that can bring us closer to the augmentations in Cyberpunk. Let's start with the head and BCIs. BCI is a brain-computer interface, where its primary goal is to let a human brain interact with a computer. This could be compared to the frontal cortex and the operating system implants in Cyberpunk. In Cyberpunk, the operating system and the frontal cortex allow you to scan and perform quick hacks in the game. I don't believe that this is what real-life brain implants will be used for. I believe that these implants will make us live better lives by giving use extracognitive abilities and restoring function in impaired people. One of these technologies is the Neuralink. This device will allow physically impaired people to communicate with their electronic devices. This device lets you control all of your devices using only your thoughts. The device is a small, coin-sized device that will go into clinical trials this year, 2024. The device will be implanted in humans using a robot surgeon, as precision is very important for this procedure for the safety of the patient and the effectiveness of the device. The device works by implanting microscopic thread wires into the brain that receive signals from the brain. In 2021, there was a demonstration of the capabilities of the device in a monkey called Pedro. Then, in 2022, Elon Musk spoke on stage and showed a more impressive demonstration of a monkey called Sake typing on a keyboard. Another goal for Neuralink is to restore vision. This could also be linked to Cyberpunk's eye implants that are used as small cameras conveying information to the brain. The Neuralink will work in the same way. A tiny camera will record the outside world, and the output will be sent back to the visual cortex to be processed. Another goal of Neuralink is to restore body function when the communication between the brain and the spinal cord is lost, such as in a spinal injury. This could work by placing electrodes in the spinal cord. They can stimulate neurons and restore the function of the muscles connected to these neurons. Moving away from Neuralink, there were some recent real-life adaptations of BCIs, such as the one developed by UC San Francisco and UC Berkeley. This device was tested on a 48-year-old woman who sadly had a stroke at the age of 30. The test was successful, and the woman was able to communicate again with the help of this device and AI.
I was thinking about running to the store.
What time will you be home?
In about an hour.
Do not make me laugh.
This device was tested in 2023. Another promising BCI company is Synchron. This one is quite promising as it is safer to implement than the previous two BCIs I mentioned. This device is implanted without open brain surgery. This device is inserted through the jugular vein and pushed up to the brain, then the mesh is expanded in the motor cortex. This device's main use is BCI, brain monitoring, brain mapping, and brain stimulation. This device is already used in patients to text, use their phones. This device's biggest risk is that a blood clot can form where it is implanted, but the good news is that after 90 days, cells grow over the device, and it gets integrated into the blood vessel, decreasing the risk of blood clots. This device will initially cost between $50,000 and $100,000. The company is also hinting at integrating AI into this technology. The prosthetics in Cyberpunk are impressive. They are very fast and mobile. We've come a long way with prosthetics in the real world, but we are not quite there yet. In December 2023, the BBC shared a video of a woman with a bionic arm and leg powered by AI. In the video, the woman demonstrated the functionality of the arm. She was able to rotate the wrist 360 degrees and crush a can. The way this arm works is the arm detects a series of muscles that are still functional after the amputation. Then the muscle twitches get recorded by 16 electrodes that are positioned inside the socket, which is then translated into movement of the bionic limb. The AI in the limb records all of the movements done by the human and trains itself with the data gathered. Although these bionic limbs are impressive, the next prosthetic feels closer to the one in Cyberpunk. The developer of this arm is a Ukrainian professor of bionics, Max Ortiz Catalan. This arm is different than any other bionic arm, as this one is integrated inside of the bone with a titanium implant. This implant takes inspiration from the way dental implants are done, where a titanium bit is drilled inside the patient's bones. In the 50s, scientists discovered that if you drill titanium into the bone cells will grow around it, making a reinforced attachment. This prosthetic implant fits well on the humerus, the bone that comes down from your shoulder to the elbow, but it is a bit more challenging to fit it below the elbow because there are two bones, the radius and the ulna, which move independently of each other. To circumvent this, Professor Catalan's team developed an artificial joint that holds these bones together while allowing a natural orbit for the movements. The next step of the process is implanting the electrodes into the muscles and the nerves around them. This is a better way to control the bionic arm, as regular bionic arms can get electromagnetic interference from the world around us, such as computers and electric tools. There's another benefit of having the electrodes connected to the nerves and muscles.
The way we control our limbs is by electric signals coming down through the nerves to the muscles, and these come in the form of electric impulses. Those signals are captured by the electronics of the prosthesis, so they travel down to the prosthesis where there is the brain of the prosthesis understands what those signals are.
The bionic arm's electrodes are connected to the three main nerves responsible for the contraction of your arm and fingers, the radial, median, and the ulnar.
So if you think about my fingers as the bundles of the nerve, what you can do is split them. You take one of those bundles to connect with that muscle that is available there. And then for the other ones, we can borrow a piece of muscle from the legs. It's called a free muscle graft. And then we transfer that to the arm to connect to one of these fascicles.
The next step is to connect a metal electrode that links the electrodes in the muscles to the titanium connector, which will later translate the signals into the bionic arm. The bionic arm also utilizes the power of AI. The way this AI is trained is the patient works with Professor Catalan's team, using software to train the patient and the AI. The patient has to try and control a virtual arm that is displayed on a computer in front of them. Then that data is collected and fed to the CPU of the prosthetic arm. This training also demonstrates a reduction of phantom pain, as it engages the nerves that were connected to the limb. Phantom pain is when the brain gets confused when a limb is missing. The brain imagines that the limb is frozen or twisting in unnatural ways. After the virtual training is complete, the patients continue to train in the real world with a fitted practice arm. This lets the team know if there are any additional adjustments needed for the arm to work as intended. One of the other impressive things about this bionic arm is the ability to feel objects in its grasp. When an object is touched by the fingers in the bionic arm, signals are then sent through it back to the nerves and then to the brain. Altogether, this is impressive. The real arm has hundreds of nerves and receptors that feel objects, meaning that the sensations of the bionic arm are not as nuanced as a biological arm. In conclusion, these technologies represent significant strides towards a cyberpunk-like future. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.